So we'll have 3 energizing sessions back to back, right? Some cake, coffee, and Toastmaster engine. Now, if you need any more energizing sessions, you're beyond help. So we're going to get down to business, okay? So today we're going to look at some of the aspects of VP membership. Now, these slides are prepared by Toastmasters International. So that is why you see that level of standard presentation, standard slides. So what we tend to do is we tend to customize it based on our roles. So some things are sort of obvious, some things need a little bit more clarification. Now, one thing that I do have to make it clear is Toastmasters is a 90-year-old organization, approximately. So in its span of 90 years, it's accumulated a lot of literature. If you actually go on their website, you will see this document worth 70 pages, that document 90 pages, that document 120 pages. You'll never go through it. So we try to summarize some of it. And because the textbook execution is so lengthy and can be so much, so we tend to figure out shorter ways to practice some of these roles. Okay, so you'll see some of the more bigger explanations here. Some of it will not be practiced, some can be practiced. So each club is on a different continuum in terms of what is achievable and what is being practiced, and the amount of literature and the amount of information that exists for you to practice. Okay, so this first slide here, we've heard several speakers talk about it, but let's look at it from the point of VP membership, and we'll get back to it. So this is standard stuff, but how does it apply from the perspective of VP membership? We'll come back to it, okay? So this is stuff you've seen. More specifically, the role of vice president membership. The bottom line of all bottom lines in a club is, if you don't have members, you don't have a club. Okay? Toastmasters Club has a turnaround ratio. It's always there. Every club has a turnaround ratio. So either you have to bring new club members, or you have to be able to replace members, or you have to be able to motivate the existing members to continue in your club. So if you're not going to do a good job of motivating your existing members, then you better be good at getting new members, right? So when members join Toastmasters, there's a social contract, meaning that people come in and have a certain goal, certain ideals of what they want to accomplish from Toastmasters. And by explaining to them, you sort of unconsciously or involuntarily or through the actions, through the club, you sort of promise that they will attain certain goals. So that is the social contract that exists. When that contract is broken, you will see people leave. Okay? So your role as VP membership is to ensure member continuation exists and try and get new members. Okay? So some of these things, like outside the club, you would conduct ongoing membership building efforts, promote the goal of 1 new member per month. And we're talking about realistic goals, right? So 1 member per month, that's 12 members per year, minimal number. You know, you can obviously target more than that. Promote achieving 20 members. Now, why 20 members? Because when you charter a club, you need a minimum of 20 members. Toastmasters will not accept a new club without 20 members. And the raw logic is pretty clear. You need somewhere between 15 to 20 members to conduct a meeting successfully. And then you factor in the fact that several people are traveling, unable to make it. You will need those many people to conduct your meetings. So as VP membership, you always sort of have to ensure that that is the survival level, right? So we talk about surviving and thriving. So survival is 20, and anything beyond that would be thriving. Now we can promote various membership building programs. There are several of them which are standardized in Toastmasters International. We'll look at it in a moment. And we'll again look at this 2 formal club membership programs annually in a bit. Keep track of guests, new members, and members not attending. VP membership looks at the motivation of existing members. So you sort of have to keep a track of who's attending, who is not attending. In that initial social contract, what were the expectations? And is that expectation being met or not, right? So, and then you would also collect membership applications. There's the initial charter member application, and then there is, once a club is formed, you have another member application form. You would collect it and hand it over to the treasurer, okay? So now, outside the club meeting, again, maintain club's website. Now, since Toastmasters is an international club, meaning somebody from China, or let's say somebody from Dubai, who's in a Toastmaster club in Dubai, is coming to Kathmandu and wants to attend one of the clubs here, right? So you will get on Toastmasters International's website, and you will type Kathmandu, Nepal, and the list of all the clubs will show up. He'll click on one of the pages, and the particular page of Toastmasters, whether it be Shangri-La, Lakshmi Bank, Everest will show up, and he will make a decision on which club he probably wants to attend for again. He will send out a letter, and the contact that's on Toastmasters International will direct him based on the email that is on the record. So the job of the VP membership is to make sure that that is correct. Because if you've changed your location, and if you've shown the previous location, that person will go to some other location. So you need to maintain those records and make sure that they are updated. So anyone accessing the Toastmasters International website or prospective members, make sure that they have the correct information to contact you so that you can actually hire them as, but induct them as new members. And again, the same thing. This goes in with the idea of meeting location. This is the same standard stuff. We don't really have area council so far because we do not have adequate number of clubs. And these last two talk about succession planning, right? So we will get to that in a minute, okay? Again, you need to greet guests. The role of VP membership is sometimes you will have guests. People will send you a mail, we may have received it, that I want to attend Toastmasters meeting. So what do? So you tell them, come and attend the meeting. We meet every week at so-and-so location. They will come. So when they come, you sort of have to be able to be there and interact with them. Now this thing that it says, complete the guest information card, is basically this card here. This comes in your charter kit information, right? So you give it to them, and it says, hello, my name is, they write down their name here, and it asks them several questions. Behind is the club name, the club meeting place, day, etc., and then the guest information, their name, how did you hear about us, I'm interested in Toastmaster because. And then there are a few questions here. It says, were you satisfied with your first visit to this Toastmasters club, yes or no? Are the benefits of joining Toastmasters clear to you? Are Toastmasters educational opportunities right for your goals? And would you like to hear from a club leader to learn more about Toastmasters? So this is what Toastmasters International expects a member to know when they join Toastmasters, as a guest, first time, right? So then you have to see whether your literature and your banner and your interaction program is designed to make sure that people at least are able to answer yes to these questions, right? So they might sit, listen to the meeting and go, but they may never really see the big picture of how the leadership track evolves or how the communication track evolves. So one of the things that we've been discussing at Everest Toastmasters is to have a track chart for guests specifically. You can laminate it, and every time they come in, the Sergeant at Arms can hand it over to them so that it becomes very clear to them. And in the coffee break, before we start, maybe the Vice President membership or one of the senior Toastmasters can explain to the guests when we are taking the introductions on how this program evolves, because they may never get the big picture. And if they don't get the big picture, then what you're actually doing is selling a very limited benefit goal of the Toastmasters Club. Okay? So that is something that you need to. Then the other roles are, and when they do join, there's also another club that this card that comes from Toastmasters International. It just says recognizes blah 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 as member of this Toastmasters club. On the back side is a Toastmasters promise, right? And when they do join, you can also give them a certificate that's like this. This also comes with the charter kit, right? So this is a standard certificate, except you just write down their name here. Now, some of these may look like costs to you, but think about it. How many members? If you're looking at one member per month, it's 12 members, right? So this is 12. This is not really that costly, if you really think about it. Likewise, this is something you could possibly make around here. You can possibly do it on a piece of paper. This, even if you could possibly make around here, not too much costs. This is once people join, so 12, 15 members a year. How much? It's just a few bucks, right? A few rupees. So these are some things that you can give them. What it does is it makes them feel part of it, and they don't get lost right in the beginning. So they follow, they understand the goals, and your goal as VP membership is to ensure that they join, understand the benefits, and they're able to retain the membership. Because if they don't, then again, the bottom line of all bottom lines is you need members to continue the club, right? Okay. So you welcome new members, promote membership campaigns. Now, some of the promotional brochures that exist on Toastmasters, this is a standard brochure. This is called Find Your Voice. So think about it, 12 members a year. Every third member that comes in, you probably expect to convert them into a member. So you're looking at 36 of this per year. How costly can it be, right? But if you can give this to them when they do come, Now, as a VP membership, some people just come, but they're probably not going to join. If you initially talk to them, you'll figure out who has chance of joining, who's just there because some friend dragged them along, right? So you won't give them this because it's a waste of your money, right? But who has a good chance of joining, you want to give them this because this also has testimonials. It clearly explains the benefits of joining Toastmasters. It has testimonials from people like, for instance, this is Chris Matthews from CNN, the guy who runs the Hardball show. So he's there. This the people officer from Coca-Cola. So these are all people who add testimonial and make it understand that this is a global program. So this is something you could easily make and give it out to people. Likewise, there's another one here, same thing. It says confidence, the voice of leadership. Exactly the same thing. And on this small portion here, it has the portion where you can fill out your club information. So once you give it to them, you want to write down the VP membership name, the VP education, the club number, and the meeting location. So once you give it to them, they carry it around with you. They may take it home, they may not join, but their husband or wife may see this and may join. Right? So you never know what will happen out of this. So a lot of this, and then there's a whole bunch of other material. We can give them this, the benefits of Toastmasters membership. Right? So we want to ensure that they actually understand the benefits of joining. So this is something you can actually get from Toastmasters. Now all of these have a small information here. It says item number key 235. So if you type this on the Toastmasters International website, that's how you order it, right? But if you actually want to make this out of an A4 size paper, you can actually hand it to them every time a member joins. So that way they understand it and you have to explain less also. And a good idea is when they do join, these are some of the information that does exist, like a new member profile when a member does join. So we talk about a social contract in terms of what do we expect them to know, or what do we expect, what do they expect from Toastmasters. So this sheet over here captures all of that information. So it says like, why did you decide to join Toastmasters? Do you have any concerns about leading a group? Blah, blah, blah. So this allows you to customize being a leader for them. Right? Otherwise, it's just come in, talk, go, right? You're not actually being a leader. Leadership requires a little bit more effort, and it requires you to actually talk to people and find out what exactly motivates them, and then you can direct your efforts at leading them. So some of the slides that I skipped early on was because of that. And this one says, how would I like to be introduced? Again, it says, I joined Toastmasters because it gives people an introduction. And again, this is a small sheet for inducting members. Again, all of this adds to the fact that they get recognized by people. They think of Toastmasters as a professional organization, all of which will aid in helping you retain that member. Okay, so let's look at some of this. This is the induction part that we talked about. This is the part that we fill out the membership application form. Now some of the financial portion can be confusing, so maybe you want to let them know that you can sit together and complete that form. And this is the portion where you customize what their needs are. Now, when we talk about this, now I'm going to get to this. This is again the standard portion. But first, there are some things that are very specific to VP membership. So this is the one that we talked about, one membership goal per month, right? Now, there are various membership building programs in Toastmasters. The first one is called Talk Up Toastmasters. This is in the month of February and March. The club aims to have at least 5 members. Okay, February and March. The second one is the Smedley Award. Now, Ralph Smedley was the founder of Toastmasters. So, to commemorate the fact that Toastmasters was founded in October 1924, in the month of August and September, the club aims to have 5 members. Okay, so you run a campaign saying for the month of August and September, we'll get 5 members. And once you do achieve these goals, Toastmasters International gives you a recognition. The third one is Beat the Clock. As the name suggests, we fill out the DCP goals by the end of June. So in May and June, again, 5-10 membership. It's a contest, you announce it. We're going to announce a contest. And so whoever gets 5, as a club, we need to get 5 members. And that is filed with Toastmasters International. They will give you a recognition. The fourth one is annual membership program. Now this is different from the top 3. The top 3 are club levels. This one is an individual level. Okay, so this is, you start with 5, 10, 15, individual. And a good way to do this is, there are 2 ways. One is called running the marathon. So how do you track these goals? Okay, one is called running the marathon. Second one is called bar chart. So every time you have a meeting, you can have a big chart. And like running a horse race or individual, you take a small photo of people. and call it the 5K race. Each K is for one person. So every time a person gets one member, their face is like on 1, right? So if they make 2 members, they move up 1. So they're 2. So it's a race that everyone can see who is where, right? So this is running the marathon. The second one is bar chart. You make a chart, and this is something you can circulate it or you can post it on your wall when you start a meeting. Again, on the vertical axis is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on the horizontal axis would be the name of the person. So every time a person gets 1, 2, 3 members, you could see the chart moving, and you would circulate this on a weekly basis, right? So now what you want to do is, if you try to do everything on your own, you get overwhelmed as VP membership. So this is the leadership trick of delegating, right? So what you do is, we haven't, in our clubs we don't really do this, but Toastmasters International says form a committee for each of those roles. So what you want to do is form a membership committee. Okay, so form a membership committee, and in that you figure out who do you want. You can send out a mail, or you can see, also this goes to the succession planning portion of it, right? How do you success plan? You form that committee and have the committee run this. So as the VP membership, you're automatically the chair of that committee. Okay, so then you can delegate and tell people, okay, you sort of take charge of running the marathon, you're in charge of beat the clock portion of it, and then you can then decide, and again the slide on motivation, that is the portion where you decide again on what is that particular person's goal in the committee. What do they want? Do they want to learn leadership goals? Do they want to learn, and if you have done this properly, if you've talked to them, you should know what they're trying to accomplish. And so this will actually help you motivate, delegate, and coach them accordingly. So some of those previous slides will tell you exactly, you'll be able to fulfill those if you know individually what you expect from each of these members, okay? So again, this is another one. We talked about getting new members and maintaining the interest of existing members, right? So these are a couple of things that you can do. New member profile is this sheet here. And if you go on Toastmasters International website, you can, if you just cite member interest survey, you'll get a document which actually has a list of questions that you can ask members. As VP membership, you might want to circulate this so that you sort of know what members' interests are. And the club climate questionnaire is again to figure out how people perceive the overall club. So this will actually tell you what you need to do to maintain the necessary motivation, right atmosphere to be able to motivate and maintain guests. So as VP membership, when you see a guest, you introduce yourself, and it's often necessary that you have them sit next to some Toastmaster who can explain it. So it's likely they're confused when they're coming in. So have someone there, sit them next to someone who can explain the communication leadership tracks and figure out what they want. And the promotional literature is something we've discussed, spend a few minutes. And all of this is so that you can actually figure out how you can address their needs. Okay, this is again the same of the questions that we've actually explained before. And the portion of following up. You may have done a great job. Sometimes people are busy, they have exams, they have some vacation that they're going on. At the back of their mind, they want to join Toastmasters. It's just that one extra mail that you send them may get them right back. Okay? And this is the great sentence in the end, right? So it's a responsibility and privilege, but you have to tag this to your own personal interest, right? If your goal is actually to improve and be a better communicator and a better leader, then this applies, right? So then it becomes a privilege and an opportunity. Otherwise, it just becomes an empty sentence. So with that, so keep your own motivation in mind as you link it to this. So if you have any questions, I'm always free to answer. And any questions? Otherwise, I'd like to hand the floor back to this one.